from my cold, dead hands.
Hey guys, the last video went well enough with the myth of the assault rifle that I thought I would do one just on the upper. Now, I'm going to cover this as quickly as I can. There's actually a lot to it. For as mechanically simple as it is, it's probably the more expensive part of the gun. There probably is a lot more that goes into it than doing the lower. You need special tools, stuff like that. So if you're going to build, I'm going to try and cover that. Somebody asked me if I was a fan of the AK and if I was going to do a video on that. I'm not an AK fan, but that's mostly due to just inexperience. I was trained on the AR, on the M16, so I know it really well. If you are an AK fan, I think it's Gabe Suarez that has a video on that, and I think it's $25, very worth checking out. Parts list was one of the other things I got asked about. The upper receiver itself is a Voltor Muir, just a standard charging handle. The rear flip-up sight is a Troy, and I'm not going to flip it up right now. It doesn't really matter. This is a piggyback system, the CAS-V. It's free floating, doesn't contact the barrel anywhere. Right there at the gas block, you can see it's cut out there, so it doesn't touch. I've got a 14.5-inch barrel on this. And I did that again because, this is the hippie scaring gun. This was to push as far as I could without having to register it with the ATF as a short-barreled rifle. So I've got a permanently attached Smith Vortex flash hider on there. Now, I gotta say, for a general purpose gun, I would actually recommend that you do a 16-inch barrel with a mid-length gas system for a couple of reasons. One, I want to change my flash hider now. I'm seriously considering doing a suppressor, and I don't want to do the Gemtech. I want to do like an AAC or a Surefire. Well, that requires changing that, and theoretically, it's probably still possible. It's going to be a lot of work. So for a general purpose gun, if you're doing your own build, 16-inch with a mid-length gas system. The reason you want the mid-length is if you do a 16-inch with a carbine length, your barrel gets longer, but the distance, let's see if I can do this right for the camera, between your gas block and the end of the barrel increases. Well, this is what's called your dwell time, okay? This is the time that the bullet is still in the barrel. Gas is coming back through your gas tube to refill that. And what's happening is you're getting like another 1.5 inches, I believe. It might only be an inch, but that higher pressure will actually make your gun run a lot rougher. So I would recommend with the mid-length, it extends the gas system so your dwell time remains correct. And it smooths out your system quite a bit. That's what I would do. I also am a big advocate of doing a free float system. What I like about this is if you run your sling in a hasty configuration where you wrap your arm around it and apply pressure to become more stable, you can actually exert enough forces if it's on the, let's see if I can get it on there. On a lot of guns you can see it right behind the bayonet lug, the sling mount. You can actually apply enough force to the barrel to change your point of impact. Kyle Lamb reports as much as 4 inches at 100 yards. That's pretty significant. So what I like is a free float system. I can't touch the barrel. I can't exert any other forces because really accuracy is consistency, repeatability. And if I can't influence it, that's going to make this more repeatable, and then I can get more accuracy out of it if I do my part. On this CAS-V, you've got these little holes like that, and there's another one there. For QD swivels, that's what I use. I like them a lot. The thing about the CAS-V is it's a piggyback system. If you notice this, I mentioned that earlier. The Muir is a flat top receiver. Well, this actually is an additional spine on top of that clamps on here and runs the length. So if you want to have optics, I said I wasn't going to pop it up, and here I go anyway. If you want to have optics lining up, suddenly anything that would co-witness, you got to have a 1/2 inch lower mount. I can't put an EOTech on here and have the reticle at the same level. If that matters to you, then this is something you're going to want to avoid. If it doesn't matter to you, because realistically, optics these days are so good, then that's just something else to throw out there. The front sight post, let me talk about that real quick. As you can see, I went with the old triangular front sight post. I didn't do any of the modern pop-up stuff. Again, part of that was for the bayonet lug to be as evil as possible. The other part of it was I simply wanted that visual indicator. To me, that was one of the things growing up in the 80s. I was like, oh, it's an M16. Look, it's got the triangle thing up front. You know, it's just one of those things. I found it attractive, and so that's what I wanted to do. Having said that, I'm not doing it on any of my future builds. Future builds are primarily going to be optics related, or I'm going to do a full length with a low gas block and have the free float going over that. Aside from that, with the barrel, like I say, this is a 14.5 inch. This is a mil spec M4 barrel, 1-in-7 twist rate, chrome lined, M4 cuts. M4 feed ramps are not necessary for what we do realistically day to day, but you've got to be careful because the M4 feed ramp extends down into the upper receiver. So you've got to make sure that you're mixing and matching properly. If you have an upper receiver that's cut for M4 feed ramps, you must get a barrel that has M4 feed ramps. If it doesn't, do whatever you want with the barrel. It'll never even notice. Let's see, what else? The light position is something that a lot of people kind of get thrown off about. As you can see, I've got it high and on my support side. I'm right-handed. Lots of guys want to put it down here where they can grip their forward vertical grip, you know, like a broom handle, and thumb it right there. Even Kyle Lamb, you know, who's a respected instructor. Don't get me wrong, I'm not trashing him. I just found that this worked better for me, and I'm really pleased to announce that I found that worked better for me before I saw the Magpul videos that show the same thing. I like to have a forward grip. I like a more traditional grip. I don't like the vertical forward grip. And what works for me about this, it's twofold. See, since I'm going to be on this side of it, maybe I should do it like this. If I hit the light here, any shadow that gets cast on that barrel is going to be down and to that side. Well, my eyes are already up and to this side. I can't see on that side of the barrel anyway. So I'm not casting shadow anywhere that's obscuring my vision. And it's more convenient just for my natural grip. So I found I really liked that. That is about it. Standard charging handle, nothing fancy there. That's about it. Like I say, I would go with the 16.5 inch mid-length barrel, so you don't have to permanently attach the flash hider. That's one thing that I thought, oh, I'm never going to change it. Well, now I want to. Yeah, that's about it. Oh, the rear sight. I don't know if I mentioned, the rear sight is a Troy. I do recommend Troy sights very highly. That's the one everybody else is copying anyway. So you might as well just go ahead and get the good one to begin with. If you're looking for a place to buy your parts, if you want to build an upper receiver, Bravo Company USA. They are not a paid sponsor, but I think they've got about the best selection of parts and prices that you're going to find. Great website. Specialty tools. You'll need a locking block for the vise to actually hold in your upper receiver. You'll need a torque wrench. You will need a spanner that will correctly adapt onto the flat parts of your flash hider there. And your barrel nut, you'll need one of those adapters. That's all I can think of right now. But spend money on the barrel. You can get it cheap. You don't need to buy a Voltor Muir. They're very nice. I love them. I love Voltor stuff. But realistically, you can get a good upper receiver from Bravo Company for like 90 bucks, maybe 95. Spend money on the barrel. Don't cheap out there and buy, I'm not even going to name a brand. Don't buy a $200 barrel, okay? Spend $3, you know. Get the chrome lining. Get something that will outlast you. And you'll be much happier with the gun in the long run. So with that all said, hope you guys are keeping your muzzles down range. We'll see you again next time.